So, going to complete the homework 4 task. So let's just see what I've got to do first of all and what we've got. So we have a file with usernames and the number of likes that each picture they've posted has, and you've got a lot of completed code already. So the very bottom part is a piece of code to help you do this step here, step 1. What we've got to make sure when we do all our programs is we call our main function to run our program. Now technically we don't actually need to do that, but it just neaten things up. You could just write this code separately from that and meet it, but I just find that it's a bit better doing it that way. So your program is going to read in all the data from this RTF file, which is no different from CSV, just showing different file formats. You can see that our file types, the format is identical, so it's not an issue. And what we have so far is a main function with a 2D array to store user details. The read function has already been completed for you because we've done that so many times now that hopefully you understand it. We have then got a menu system running that's going to display the menu each time it repeats. So we have the menu part displaying here. Now the formatting is a little off, which you'll see when you run it, so you can fix that if you like. And there are 4 options in there. Add new user and display all details we'll do together here, and you are responsible for implementing these 2 functions as well as sorting the usernames before they are displayed. So I'm not going to sort them. I want the usernames in alphabetical order. So all of these parts here you now need to be able to complete on your own. So back to what we've got so far, we have the repeat loop that quits whenever the user doesn't want to enter anything else again. So you have that part there be converted to upper. And we've got the option for A and B started calling those sub-procedures. So you can see I've got a few errors which I'll fix for you. So we've got add users not there, it should be. So we have it here, add user, so that's fine, as well as display details. Let's see if we have that, add user, yes, so display details. We are going to have to include there, so def display details data. So this should be fixed on yours. I'll just throw in a print there right now. Hopefully that's okay on yours. So let's get down to fixing it. So I have the same one just on my own part here. You can see the code's identical, apart from a little error that I have because I've typed the same thing here, this display details, and it's because I don't have a print yet. So this is identical to how yours looks, except yours has that print line so that there's no errors. So I'm going to start off with the add new user to file option. So I will put the print in there, so now they're absolutely identical. If you run the program, you can see this horrible menu that's not quite displaying correctly because I've got too many spaces. You can see that this super secret code at the bottom is, or it's actually because I haven't removed it yet, is being called here. So look at that code later to try and understand how it works. And we're going to start off implementing the add user function. So if I chose option A, you can see that nothing actually happens. We need to fix that uppercase part as well. So we want to first get the username from the user. So nice and straightforward, equals input, enter new username to store, easy. We then need to set likes 1, and I'll make sure this isn't in caps lock again. Likes 1 equals int input enter photo 1 likes. Now let's enter in some blank lines there to improve our readability. And let's cut some corners. Likes 1, I'm going to repeat that for likes 2. And I'm going to repeat that again for likes 3. make sure we change what's being asked. Then we want to open the file for append. So file equals open, and we want to open users.rtf. I want to append. I don't want to delete anything that's already on there. So open with A. Then we want to write to the file. So we want to do file.write, and we want to write out username followed by a comma. And this is where we need to concatenate perhaps. So let's just see we don't get any errors happening here. Plus likes 1. Now I think this will give us an error. See if you can figure out what that error is going to be based on the data type that it is. Cheat a little again. We'll copy the part for the formatting to write out. Now likes 2, followed by likes 3. Then close the file. So let's test that this is going to work. File.close. Stop it from running again and run it. So we get our menu appearing. I'm going to choose option A. New username, colon 55. And I'll have 230 likes, 1 and 0. So now we're getting an error. Now this is what I wanted to happen. It says because it must be type string, not int, and that is because these are int variables, so easy to fix. Cast those integers to strings. And the reason we have the plus and the comma is to concatenate that and join the string with the integers to be able to print it to screen. So hopefully now, if we try option A, capitals for now, enter new username to store, colon 55, 120 likes, so just any nonsense, and we're still getting an error. Bad apron for plus, operand for plus. Now I think this is because the pluses only work when it's all strings, so this is going to look very heavy on commas. So let's see. Now another option is actually to do with some of the, it could have been that error there actually, I just seen the extra plus. Let's see if it works this time. Is to actually create a string that you want to then write out the file. It's actually a nicer way to run it. Let's see, 7 arguments. Now what am I doing wrong now? I do need the pluses. What's going wrong? Okay, what I'm going to do is pause this and make the second video unless I can figure this out quickly. So let's just change this back to pluses for a second. Make sure we've got no extra pieces. And then I will do it one bit at a time to get this right. Let's try. Nonsense. Okay, that seemed to work. Anything else to quit, so I will quit. Now our file, when I open it up, now I think the error I had last time is I actually did have a comma in. So it is pluses we have to use. It's just very easy to type that extra comma. So you could do it slightly differently by setting everything in here to a string, which you then write out, which would be easier. So we should have this new nonsense that I typed in here. Now hopefully you can spot the issue. That is still appearing on the same line as the previous file with the comma at the end there. So what we want to do is before we print out the username, we should print out that \n part to ensure that we get that working on a new line. So let's go back and append. We'll put in a real one this time, make sure it works. 100 likes, 50 likes, 25 likes. I've got the same problem again because I've done commas again like an idiot, not learning from my mistakes. So again, it's all back to testing it, and these are the things that maybe in your coursework are happening. You can document. So 100, 150, 0. Excellent. So I'll quit. Check the users file, and you can see they're perfect. It's now popped that on the next line, and the formatting's correct. Feel free to add or change these if you want to put them in yourself. So this has now got the new user being appended to this file. What it's not being appended to is the 2D array. So what we want to do is create a new record. So I've just got temp record equals a blank array. I should have done this at the top, in fact. I want to do temp record dot append, and I want to append username. I want to do temp record dot append likes 1, and the same with the others. And I'm not sure if I've made a mistake with that append 1 there. Let's see what happens. So append all of those. Let's see what issues. Yeah, append for some reason has managed to go capital letters, which I don't want. So append all of those to its own array, so that seems to be working fine. And then we want to append that record to the data. So we have all of the data passed in here. So we can do data.append temp record. Because data is a 2D array, it stores arrays in each of the index positions. So that way we'll add the whole record to it now. Now this won't change anything that it does so far, but if we didn't have that part happening, when we call the function back down here to add user details, it wouldn't actually update the list that we store in main unless we had it as a global variable. So passing the parameter that way means we have the correct parameter being passed back out to update this 2D array of user details. Next, we're going to implement display details, display the user details. So if we find this function here, and you can see it's the one that we put the random print x in. So we want to print off, and I'm going to have to look up the formatting for this again. So if we look up the formatting tools for the code journey from our blog and scroll to the bottom, here is the formatting exemplar. So there'll be one that you can use. So I'm just going to steal that code back to mines and paste it in there. So we've got 3 different headers for that one. We only need 4 for mines, so let's manipulate that a little bit more. And we want to format in there. We want username, and then we want photo 1. Make sure I've got the correct formatting. Photo 2, followed by photo 3. So let's test that works correctly. Let's call option B. And you can see there that is displaying the header, which is good so far. And then we want to, for index and range length of data, go for I and range 0 to the length of the data that's passed over. We want to print details. Now if we're doing this properly, we should say send details I to display. So steal our line of code and change the formatting part. So we have data at I returns a record, and the username is at index 0. For the second part, we've got data I at 1 and 2 and 3. So data index I for photo 2, and then data at index I returns a record, and we want the third item from that. So now when we test it again and run it, menu option, let's go for B, and you can see they're being displayed there. We haven't sorted it yet, so that's one of the jobs that you've got to do if you look back at your tasks, to sort them before displaying. So hopefully you can do that with one line now, after we showed you the simple way of sorting data. You can fix the error that I have by going to the get menu choice and using the upper function to stop that not working for lowercase letters as well. That'll fix that quickly. So your job to finish this is to then allow me to continue and choose to have a username search, which is not implemented yet. So if I search for any of the usernames in here, so if I search for Norris, it should print out all the details on his liked photos. And if it doesn't find that person, it should say, sorry, this person is not a current member or is not in the list, something like that. And for option C, the least liked photo, I've given you some example code here that you can run it and see if you like. It displays the most liked photo from all of the users. So it's using the inbuilt function for Mac. So see if you can understand how this is working. Now that's actually slightly wrong. It should be I1 to 4, and I believe I fixed that on this one where it was calling it earlier. Yeah, you can see that I've left that in there. So what I'll do is I'll comment that out so as not to confuse you. So it's there for you to look at to help you implement part 1. The sort function should be very straightforward. We can use our old programs to find out how to do that. And linear search, very straightforward. Find a person. If they're there, display the details. If not, give me an error message. So you possibly want to have a Boolean variable involved in that. Now, if you want 5 house points, and as a hint for the types of things that you want to do for your coursework, is make some assumptions. So what other features could we possibly add here? Give me one good extra function, tell me what it is and why you think they need it, and I'll give you 5 house points for implementing that.